What's up, guys, and welcome to the Underdog Best Ball Show. And I've got a rookie wide receiver that you can draft in the 17th, 18th round that I think can help you win a fantasy championship this year and potentially go far in the Underdog's Best Ball Mania show. And I'm going to get into it right after this. What's up, guys? Simon Edwards at PumaCom here with Heatseeker Sports, and you're watching the Underdog Best Ball Show. Thanks for joining, and I've got a great pick for the 17th, 18th round. I'm also going to give you a bunch of analysis on some of the most recent news that's happened, some of the latest injuries that have happened, especially during the first set of preseason games. And the player that I am going to highlight is a guy that's been going largely undrafted in Underdog Best Ball Mania throughout the summer. And I think he's going to give us an edge on drafting this late into the season and having a guy that a lot of existing teams have not even drafted. And it's going to give us an advantage when it comes to, if this guy breaks out, he's a rookie player, rookie wide receiver that we can draft in the 17th, 18th round that's been going largely undrafted. And before we get into that, make sure to hit the like button. I'm looking for 20 likes to put out a shorter video. Going to be putting out a lot of short videos with sleeper picks for these Underdog Best Ball drafts. ADP super high on a lot of these guys, super low on a lot of these guys that you can sneak in the 17th, 18th round. And like I said, a lot of them are going undrafted. And I've got several picks like that I want to share with you guys. Make sure to sign up for an Underdog account using the promo code SEEK, SEEK, and Underdog's going to get you a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 on your first deposit with Underdog. I've already started my Best Ball Mania draft here. I've taken Jamar Chase already. Just took Tyreek Hill as well. And we'll get into that right now, actually. So I'm calling up the show right now, calling up the draft that I'm currently in, and we'll go through it, and I can show you what I've done so far. I drafted Jamar Chase. That's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. That's the number one overall. Second round, I went with Tyreek as my number 2. And Trey McBride as my number 3. I think that the elite tight ends have been overlooked because the past couple years they haven't really delivered. But I think Brock Bowers and Trey McBride are good draft picks in those early rounds. Here I am again. I'm going to go with debating between Cortland Sutton and Jameson Williams, but I think I'm going to go with Jameson Williams here. I don't have a ton of exposure to him. So I'm looking right now, pretty much need my first running back, I think. I'm going to highlight Kenneth Walker. He's my favorite of this batch here between Walker, Chuba Hubbard, Alvin Kamara, and James Conner. I know a lot of people are on Conner this year. But Connor's been pushing it with with kind of outlasting his injury situations. Like I just think that he's getting a lot older, and we've had doubts like on him in the past seasons, and I think that's eventually going to catch up with him. He's kind of beaten expectations the past few seasons, and I do like Kenneth Walker a lot. And I think he's in a good spot as far as, where he's going in the draft. I know he's got Zach Charbonnet as his competition in the backfield. But I do believe that Kenneth Walker, he's just a good running back, and he's going to have a decent year, I think. And I'm going to stick with him. I think they're going to rely more heavily on the run game this year too, because they lost obviously DK Metcalf. They swapped out Geno Smith for Sam Darnold. Passing game situation is going to be very sketchy right now, and I would tend to lean towards the run game over there. And that's where, like I kind of go Kenneth Walker when choosing between those running backs. Zach Charbonnet later in drafts, he's not a bad pick, but I've been betting on Kenneth Walker to have a decent season this year in his current situation. I need to start looking at quarterbacks now. You know what? I had Chase. I should have grabbed Burrow there. I'm so not used to grabbing Chase because I never get the number one overall. So I completely spaced it on that one when I was trying to talk through the situation there. Let's see if he's still available. He's gone now, so that was a boneheaded move there. Could have grabbed him instead of probably Jameson Williams or Kenneth Walker. I could have waited a little bit longer on my first running back there, so that was stupid. But we'll see who pops up in the next round. Still got some good quarterbacks left. Kyler Murray's got a good situation with his schedule this year, where I think that he could outperform. Brock Purdy has another easy schedule as well. I do like the San Francisco passing game this year, especially. Well, my favorite is Ricky Pearsall. He's already off the board. Looks like he went at number 68, and then Jennings just went too. So that San Francisco passing game is out. All right, so it's my turn here. Looking at Brock Purdy, Justin Fields. I'm probably gonna have to. Where am I at? I'm still, probably a round away from picking one of those guys. So let's go with Tony Pollard. I'm going to grab my second running back here. I do like grabbing multiple running backs in this area of the draft. You can see, like I took Kenneth Walker. Normally, I like stacking up these wide receivers. It's already my turn again. Let's highlight Diggs. I like the way that Diggs is trending lately. I do like Jacoby Myers too. I think Vegas is going to be good this year. I think their passing game is going to be pretty good this year. So, if I'd had a little bit more time to think about that, I probably would have gone with Jacoby Myers. Still a little bit out of practice with these drafts, but my overall strategy, I'm not going with the running back heavy strategy that people seem to be using this year. We were on that last year. If you watched the show, I was very high on taking those running backs early last year. I felt like the defenses were going to catch up to the pass happy offenses, and they did that last year. I think there's going to be a little bit of a correction towards defending the run a little bit more. And I do think that things are going to open up a little bit more for wide receivers, which is why I want to focus on wide receivers in the early rounds. And maybe we're getting so much value in these mid rounds now with these running backs anyways, that I don't mind holding off. And of course, with tight end, I like grabbing an elite tight end, especially a guy like McBride or Brock Bowers if I can. I'm going to put Kyler Murray. Speaking of Trey McBride, I'm going to put Kyler Murray in the queue. We'll see if he gets back to me. I don't think he will. There's another example of kind of not thinking that one through. Actually, he might make it back to me. My next pick is 95, or he's at 95. My next pick is 96, so maybe he will make it back to me. I might even double tap on quarterback here. We got some nice options. We got like Kyler Murray, Purdy. I'm guessing will be taken. Well, maybe not. Like I haven't drafted any 49ers receivers yet to make this worth really drafting Purdy. I'd rather go with a so like a Fields or a Nix or a Drake May. And I do think that I'm going to need to take, I would need to take one of those guys with my my next pick, anyways, if I want to have that set up for my uh, quarterback situation. But I do like Pittman as well. Um, Even though there's a very rough situation going on right now in Indy as far as the quarterback situation, we're looking at Anthony Richardson just like bent his pinky, and it looked really bad dislocation there. But he's probably going to shake it off and try to play again soon here. So not overly concerned about that as far as his playing time, but his performance. You throw a bad hand on a guy who's already struggling as a quarterback, and that's not a good recipe for success there. All right, so I'm going to go with Murray here. I do think there's upside in this passing game. Let's take a look here. Scattaboo, I like him. I do like ETN. ETN was getting a lot of the work. Let's go with ETN. I like the Jaguars this year, which is why I would go ETN there over Scattaboo. So next round, I'm hoping that one of those running quarterbacks will fall to me. I don't think that they will, but I would go Justin Fields, Bo Nix, or Drake May. Those are the guys that I would like for one of those guys to fall to me, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm kind of committed here to an Arizona stack. We got Murray and we got McBride. So I'm going to keep an eye out on any other potential Arizona wide receivers we got. Looking at Trey Benson. He's a running back, obviously, but Trey Benson looked pretty good in the preseason game that he played. Got a decent amount of on him in the preseason as well. So I don't hate taking Trey Benson. Let's take another look at this view here so you guys can see who's drafting. So Underdog switched it up. It looks really nice with the board that they got this year. I do have to stretch my screen out though for it. I'll show you guys what's going on. So as we're doing this, a reminder, hit the like button. I'm trying to get to, keep expectations low with these preseason shows. Get me to 20 likes. I've been putting out these shorts, these Underdog shorts, recommending certain players, and I put out a video today actually. So check out my shorts. It's a recommendation on a guy who has been going undrafted throughout the preseason. He's on Seattle, and it's a rookie named Torrey Horton. And I'm been doing a lot of research on local sources. I'm putting out a website pretty soon here. You're going to want to subscribe to the channel to get updates on that. By the way, it's going to be huge in doing your research this year for single game slates and the prop market. You're going to want to be subscribed because I'm going to give a free beta to people who have been watching the content on the YouTube channel, and just a general free beta for people to test out and give feedback on the site. It's going to be a lot of a social aspect to it. People can leave their comments and their feedback and their opinions on different news items that are coming out. So you're going to want to keep a close eye out for that. I'll probably be announcing that in the next couple weeks before the season starts. But you guys know, the people who watch regularly, how much I'm into Showdown, and one of the main things that I follow for Showdown is news, and I love local sources. And I've kind of come up with a solution for guys like me and my viewers who like using those nuggets for making their lineup decisions. So that will be coming out pretty soon. Subscribe to the channel. Um, Help me get to like 1,800 before the season starts. I'm at about 1,600 now, but you want to subscribe to the channel to make sure you're getting alerts on all that news coming up. All right, Caleb Williams. I don't hate him. Don't love it either. I'm trying to think through my lineup. I don't really have anyone else that would work anyway, so I don't mind grabbing Caleb Williams there. All right, I'm looking for a receiver now. Not really seeing. Oh, you know what? Keenan Allen he's going at 150. I can hold off another round for him. I'm going to go with Christian Kirk there. So we're looking at Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams. No stackability at all with Caleb Williams in this one. I just kind of took him because he was the best on the board. Running backs, Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, and Travis Etienne. Getting a little pickle here with two Week 8 buys. I need to get another running back, starting caliber running back to cover me for that Week 8 buy. My receivers, I'm looking at Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Jameson Williams, Stephon Diggs, and Christian Kirk. Tyreek Hill, I could have gone a different direction there. I should have gone with Devontae Adams because I really like the Rams. I don't like the situation with Stafford's injury. He's got a hurt back right now. But as far as Miami, I don't like their situation at all because they just lost their best offensive lineman a couple weeks ago, retired. So they're in a very rough situation. Fine. The guy that retired. Yeah, let me look it up real quick. Let's see. Teron Armstead retired. He was a big reason for the success of Tua and having that time that he needs to throw and let plays develop. If you look at the history of the how the Dolphins were playing without that guy, like it's not good. Like it's going to be a rough season for the Dolphins if like the trend of how Tua plays without Teron Armstead continues this season. It's not a pretty sight. It's a significant dip in performance and efficiency when Armstead was out. So, that's we've seen it before with the Dolphins. Anytime like one of their major pieces falls, they just crumble, and that's going to be a rough situation for the Dolphins this year. Passing and running games are going to be in rough shape this year if they can't figure out how to accommodate for that missing piece in the offensive line now. All right, so we're coming up on me again. Got a couple decent running backs available. Mentioned I needed a filler. I'm especially looking at Dylan Sampson. So, don't mind that Tootin just went. Sampson is a week 9 guy by week. So that helps me out with having 2 week 8s. As I mentioned, the Cleveland situation is interesting for running backs. I'm going to take Sampson here. The Cleveland situation is interesting for running backs. Also kind of like I like Cedric Tillman here. I'm gonna grab Cedric Tillman. I was debating on Kyle Williams there. Like he'd be another decent guy to grab, but Cedric Tillman, I think, is going to be set up for a decent season this year. He showed some upside last year, and he looked good when he got his opportunities. I think he's a bit of a sleeper. Nobody wants to draft any of the Cleveland guys due to their situation. Just a mess at the quarterback situation. We did see Shadir Sanders play this weekend. He didn't look horrible, but like they're treating it like the guy just won the Super Bowl because he had a decent preseason game, and it's just like it's kind of embarrassing for the Browns fans out there. But we'll see what happens when Sanders gets like in a real NFL game if he ends up being the starter. But I don't know how long he would last as a starter. I kind of, I kind of root for him because he's kind of an underdog now, getting drafted in the 5th round, and everybody, left him for dead. And interesting to see a guy like that, like who's all cocky and everything, like come around and have a good season, and just be like lack of self-awareness with that guy. His interviews are going to be classic, especially if he's winning games, and it's just going to be entertaining if he starts. So I kind of do root for the Browns this year, just to see like what would happen in that situation. Let's see. All right, so I got a few good options coming up here. I like Pat Bryant. I do like Xavier Leggett. Think he's going overlooked for a guy, 1st-round draft pick last year. He didn't play horribly last year. Like he did show some flashes, but he was on the Panthers, and it took him a while to get their shit together last year. So I would not be surprised if Leggett has a decent season. So I would not write off Xavier Leggett just yet. But I do like Pat Bryant. He's shown flashes in the preseason already. We got some good running back options here too. Woody Marks is a guy that I want to be targeting right now with the situation with Joe Mixon injury. Woody Marks and Nick Chubb are going to be on the radar. I do think that Nick Chubb, obviously old guy. He's had a ton of injuries. I do think that he's kind of one of those Adrian Peterson type of running backs, though, that can overcome something like that, his injury situation, and end up having like one of those comeback player of the year type of seasons. So, I'm not writing off Nick Chubb at all. In fact, I wouldn't mind taking Marks and Chubb, in that situation, just to get both of them, kind of lock in that Houston backfield. But I do have my eye on Pat Bryant, who I want to get some exposure to, and I'm not overly thrilled with my wide receiver situation. Even though I got Jamar Chase on there, I'm gonna go with Bryant here, and I'm gonna go with Woody Marks. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Woody Marks. I'm just gonna bite the bullet and draft him and hope that Houston. Was debating there on it between him and Chubb. Maybe Chubb will make it back to me on the next round. We do have some good sneaky wide receivers coming up. later in the draft. We got Dante Thornton. He's a guy that I'm looking at on Vegas. He's a rookie that's been getting some good buzz in camp. I got Torrey Horton, the guy that I recommended in my short that I put out earlier today. You guys are going to want to check that out on my YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe, as I mentioned. And by the way, with Underdog, make sure you're signing up for an account using the promo code SEEK, SEEK. They're going to give you a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 and give you an opportunity to load up on best ball. And now's the time to do it. We got it early, mid-August. This is where we start to get a real sense of how teams are shaping up, and you're not going to be like just lighting your money on fire necessarily. Hopefully, we're not going to have too many more injuries this offseason, but we've had some decent ones so far, and I got to say, like, I haven't been doing a ton of drafting because I get burned with injuries every season. But now is the time where you have like a little bit less of a risk with losing a bunch of your top drafted players to injury. Still got a huge injury risk. Obviously, there's still like playing preseason games, and anything can happen in those. And then you got like all the practice and stuff that they have to go through before the season starts. But I do think that we've passed the dangerous, probably the most dangerous part of the season, and we're just getting into the last few weeks of the preseason, about a month away from the NFL season starting. So I think now's a good time to drafting. At least, like if your guys still get injured, at least the backups and stuff like that you have on your team, you have a little bit more confidence about their roles on the team than you would have like a few months ago when you completely flying blind and just hoping that guys make the team or perform the way that you anticipate or want them to in the preseason to earn their spots. So I need another tight end too. I'm looking at Gesicki. I'm looking at Mason Taylor. I like both those guys. I may go with Mason Taylor. It would have been nice to have Justin Fields already on the team. You know what? No, I'm going to go with Gesicki. I already got Chase on the team. I'm going to go with Gesicki too. And then I'm going to throw Torrey Horton on this team too. Just we're getting up to 199, which is where he is being drafted with his ADP. Someone just took Gesicki, so that's going to make it easy for me to take Mason Taylor instead. So I'm going to go with Torrey Horton, grab a couple rookies here, and Mason Taylor. Now, Torrey Horton, if you watch the NFL preseason game, he scored a touchdown in that, but kind of been building towards that all offseason. Fifth-round rookie, going largely undrafted in Underdog, and he had making highlight catches throughout the offseason and training camp and everything. A lot of the local media is buzzing about him hard, which is what makes me like him even more. You check out do a Google search on him. His situation in the depth chart is pretty good. He's got Cooper Kupp and MVS, and there's another scrubby receiver ahead of him on the depth chart, but he's climbing up the depth chart, and you get one injury to Kupp or MVS, and those guys are already injury prone. But not to mention, like, Kupp was washed last year, and MVS, like, he can barely catch the ball. So you're looking at a guy in Torrey Horton, who's going to have plenty of opportunity to get opportunity either to become a starter or to get a decent amount of playing time this coming season, and he's going pretty late in these drafts. I need one more pick with my situation. I've got 5 running backs. I've got 8 receivers, and I've got 2 tight ends and 2 quarterbacks. I want to probably finish this up with another tight end or another quarterback. So we'll see who we got. I'm not drafting Tyler Slow, whatever his pronunciation is there. Shadir Sanders. I don't hate drafting him since I have Dylan Sampson and Cedric Tillman already. Maybe I'll throw Sanders in a lineup. Oh, we got Theo Johnson too. So you know what? Like, I'm going to put Theo Johnson as a priority over Sanders. Although you can never trust Kyler Murray to stay healthy throughout the season. Isaac Tesla is another rookie that I like, taken in the 18th round or whatever. All right, so it's my turn. I'm going to go with Theo Johnson. And there we go. So Trey McBride, Mason Taylor, and Theo Johnson as my tight ends. I got Kyler Murray and Caleb Williams as my quarterbacks. Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, Travis Etienne, Dylan Sampson, and Woody Marks as my running backs. And my receivers, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Jameson Williams, Stephon Diggs, Christian Kirk, Cedric Tillman, Pat Bryant, and Torrey Horton. So, I like the back end of these drafts for wide receivers. All the more to pick a decent amount of running backs in those middle rounds. Where you get the scrubbier end of those starting receivers. Like, I don't mind passing on those guys and taking the running backs in that area, and then waiting until the end of draft to get some of these sneakier wide receivers. I think there's a lot of decent options in the back here. So make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe to the channel. You're going to want to subscribe to, find the news out on, my future website that I got launching here very shortly. You're going to want to subscribe to get all the showdown content and all this best ball content. I'm going to be putting up more shorts with recommendations. So, it's going to be a lot of good content, NFL content coming out here pretty soon. I'm trying to get shows like this where I'm starting to ramp up my best ball drafting and, try to give at least some good analysis on some of these players to target late in rounds, and just generally trying to work the way through the current landscape of ADP and everything like that. So hit that like button, get me to 20 likes. I put out another short video here later in the week, and make sure to subscribe and keep an eye out for that news we got coming out. All right, guys.